You are listening to the daily homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately, the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5. Likewise, the one who received 2 made another 2. But the man who received 1 went away and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back." His master said to him in reply, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I did not plant and gather where I did not scatter. Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I could have got it back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I just noticed now that we have one word, the same word, used in 2 different texts, or actually 3 in today's readings, and they are different in meaning. And it's the word fear. So we have this third guy who got 1 talent, and he, out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. But then we have in the psalm, "Blessed are those who fear the Lord." And we have this woman, it says here, "The woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." So the meaning of fear in these first 2 texts of Proverbs and Psalm 128 is very different from the meaning of the word fear in the gospel text. And the word fear of the Lord means great respect, great veneration, like somebody who doesn't want to hurt their feelings, who doesn't want to let them down. Whereas the guy with the 1 talent was afraid of punishment. He became limited in his ability to act because of a fear that oppressed him. Whereas the fear of the Lord is something that rises up all of our person to want to do the best, to give the best, out of loving respect and weighing the importance of the relationship with the Lord, and knowing how much we're gifted, and I don't want to let that down. I want to do the best. I want to give the best of myself. It's interesting to see that because sometimes we need to take a second look at some words to figure them out. Also, the word talent is a very special word, and in ancient times, a talent was a lot of money. It was like, I don't know, more than a couple of years' wages. So it's a lot of sustenance of life to be given. One talent is already a lot. Sometimes people enter into a dynamic of negativity. Oh, this guy has it all, and I have nothing. That's a very damaging attitude. We need to help children, for example. A sibling can be very smart and make it to Harvard, and the other sibling learns to be a carpenter, and each one has a talent. And those are not the most important talents, what we do and what we have. It's who we are. And so what we do is very important because it expresses who we are and it forms us. But the person who's doing a menial task is no less of dignity before God than a person who's the president of a country, or the owner of a huge company, or the inventor of a great cure for an illness in humanity. Everybody is blessed with the image and likeness of God, which at the end of the day is probably our best talent. And sometimes we don't take care of it. America got talent, Indonesia got talent. Today I was tagging my Instagram post, and I just put in the words "got talent" to find people to tag. And it was filled with every country in the world has a program Got Talent, not just America Got Talent and Britain Got Talent. Everybody got talent. And so that was fascinating to see that this operation that's obviously a business that organizes this show business. And it's a wonderful thing in a way because it encourages a lot of new people to emerge and gives hope to a lot of people. But then on the other hand, maybe it's parents need to be careful with their children because every little child want to become a rock star. And their vocation is different. Their talent is different. Because each one got a talent according to their ability. And you're not less because you have a different ability than the other person. No, you have this ability. This ability, not disability. You have this ability to do something. And this ability is where you glorify God, where you serve your brothers and sisters. There are a lot of reflections to make about this because to ponder about the nature of our talents and of our lives. Have you ever met a family that tells you, you know, that child was a huge blessing in our family? I imagine for a couple, just imagine what it does to their own development when they have their first baby. It changes their lives completely. It's a revolution of change, and they start doing things that they would never have dreamt of doing before. And they're helping each other, and they slow down their whole fast sports car life to looking after a little baby crying in the middle of the night and they have a headache themselves. And it changes their lives. It helps them to mature immensely. How a girl changes from being a very giddy teenager, and 10 years later she has a couple of kids, and she's such a mature young mother, such a wise person, and so self-giving to her children. She's completely transformed. When a person enters our lives, it can be the greatest talent. And maybe it's the person that enters our lives that's not easy. Let's say that family you go to and they tell you, this child was such a blessing for our family. I knew one family like that in Michigan, and they had 2 sons. They had 4 sons. 2 of them were graduates of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the best engineering schools in America. And their 3rd boy, whom I knew, was relatively average kid. He wasn't going to be going to any school like that. And their 4th child had Down syndrome. But for the family, and the mother used to give talks. In fact, we went to visit a home for children with that type of condition. And in order to prepare the young people to go there, this mother came and gave a talk about their experience in the family. And she actually said a prayer when she was a child. I was always stunned by this, how God prepares us for our lives. And she remembers where she was raised. And she was out in a field with a lot of flowers. And she had a prayer in her heart. And she must have had some experience of a Down syndrome or a severely limited person in the neighborhood, because she had a prayer rise up in her heart spontaneously and said, God, never give me a child like that. It's interesting, isn't it? And God gave her fourth boy was like that. But she said that that was such a blessing for the family. So maybe it's a person who's difficult in my history and is still around, maybe old, maybe failing, and I should contact that person. That person can be, maybe it's a difficult neighbor. They don't keep their place clean, they're garbage, but maybe they have a lot of stuff going on inside. If I start saying hello to them, if just small things, not to be intrusive or anything, but just to build relationship. And that not only is a blessing for the neighbor, but it's a huge blessing for myself, because I'm becoming more sensitive to other people. I'm becoming more entrepreneurial, like this woman in the book of Proverbs. This is an amazing reading, this woman in the book of Proverbs. What happened to my page here? When one finds a worthy wife, her value is beyond pearls. You see, again, people think that talents or pearls or money or status. And she has actually beautiful clothes. You know, she's making these extraordinary purple clothes. And she knows how to go out and purchase and import, probably. She obtains wool and flax. It's amazing. Bishop Barron gave a beautiful commentary on this today. His whole theme was just about this. And I think here in Magdala we need to mention it because women are honored. But I'm not sure if you know this, that in Jewish families, religious Jewish families, on Shabbat evening, the husband reads this text for his wife in honor and recognition of his wife. What a beautiful thing. And it's not just she's industrious in the sense of she's very effective and gets things done and good things for her family and meals and everything and clothes, but she is a woman from inside. She's maybe beautifully dressed and has a very wonderful house and she's the envy of the neighborhood, but she is not built on fleeting beauty and charm. There's qualities that are okay, but they're very transitory. But she's a woman of God. And there's a beautiful program it reminds me of that some young women developed and are still working in different countries, beauty inside, beauty outside. And they take the girls to the manicure, to the beauty salons on 1 week, and they learn how to do some of those little skills. But then the next week they're pondering the beauty of the heart. Because the girl that's beautiful on the outside but hasn't a beautiful heart is a bit of a problem. So what are talents? Maybe we should ponder today, who is the one person that's the big talent in my life? And I didn't realize it. And this can be a huge opportunity for me today to go forward. And the time goes quickly. Just read the second reading of Thessalonians. The time goes very quickly. So use it now. Today, start building a better relationship. Well, maybe it's a sibling that was difficult. Maybe it was a parent. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's a coworker. Let's work on these relationships because they're the huge blessing and talent in our lives, worth more than $1 million.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.